I was like, all right, I give us till May until robots take over the world. But like, what am I going to do? Sit around and wait for that to happen? Like, no, let me use it while I can.
So since we've been talking so much about AI recently, I came across this article. So they posted this, I think it was last month, a really brief guide to artificial intelligence for construction contractors. They lay down how artificial intelligence can affect each stage of a construction project lifecycle. And then they've got this list of software. It's a short list. But yeah, I thought this was pretty interesting, and I wanted to get your thoughts if you've heard of any of this software, or just like, what do you think of this? Because obviously this stuff is starting to become more mainstream. There's software out there that is currently utilizing AI.
Sure. Well, definitely the main thing that I wanted to say to everybody, like I was just saying this to a client this morning. We were on a call, and I asked her if she'd ever used ChatGPT, and she said, "Oh no, I'm scared of that. I don't want to use that." And I think a lot of people there's a lot of different reasons, but people are avoiding this technology. And I think that is a gigantic mistake, because, you don't have to be an expert at it, but you learn a lot about how it works and what it can do just by using it. And I would say that I use ChatGPT at least once a day. Sometimes I'll use it for hours on end to complete some kind of project, but I have a really intuitive understanding of how these large language models work. And so that allows me to have a better idea of what I can do with them. And all of these AI technologies, they're using the same principles. And the people who understand this stuff are going to be the ones utilizing it in the coming months and years. And anyone who doesn't understand it is running the risk of losing their job, because they're going to be like 10 people will be replaced by one guy who knows how to use the AI. And so all of these tools, like I'm looking through that list and I saw Autodesk on there. And just from using ChatGPT a whole bunch and thinking about how would I use something like this for Autodesk? I have some frameworks in mind of how you will soon be able to interface with Autodesk verbally. And we'll be looking at the screen, and it will have, it might highlight certain elements in different colors, and then you'll say, hey, element purple, change that to this many feet. And
that's crazy.
You'll just go back and forth, and the computer or the AI will be making the changes, and you'll be watching it and giving it direction. But you have to kind of understand how these models work in order to get the most use out of them. So my biggest thing I could possibly say is, like, everybody who's putting it off, like, go spend $20 on ChatGPT, get the app on your phone. It's got an amazing voice to text, and just start talking to it. Next time you go to do an estimate, hit the voice to text button and just talk through the project that you're estimating. And you will be amazed at how fast it can help you do it. And it can help you fill in the blanks. You can say, hey, what are some things that I might have missed? And it'll just help you. Like, I did a video not too long ago where I just did a quick demo of some kind of remodel, and I was able to create a framework for an estimate in a matter of minutes that would take a new person who hasn't done a lot of estimates, it would take them many hours to put that together. And then you run the risk of forgetting certain things. And, we all know that if you give someone a bid and you forget a major component, could lead to some serious issues. So having these kind of tools that are that easy and accessible and cheap to help you operate at a 10 times higher level, I think you're missing the boat if you're not using them. Forget whatever reasons you have for avoiding it. it's going to happen with or without you. So make sure that it's with you.
I have two really good tips for anyone who is going to take your advice and actually try it out. Most people, when they jump into ChatGPT, they expect the world, and then they also don't really give it any instructions. So they'll put in something like, let's just say, hey, create me a construction plan and estimate for this job based on da 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 da. And then when it doesn't come back perfect, they're like, oh, this is stupid. This software sucks. AI is nowhere near where like being useful yet. And they just dismiss it. So 2 things. 1, lower your expectations a little bit. Treat it like you would a virtual assistant, or, just you've got like this little virtual assistant in your pocket who doesn't know everything about the entire world. And this is where the context comes in, is you can't just say something like, create me a construction plan for blah, blah, blah. Like, would you be able to tell that to an employee and get a good result? Now, would you be able to tell that to a brand new employee and get a good result? And so that's how I try to think of it, is like, if I was going to instruct a human being, like, would they have any idea what I wanted them to do, or would they come back with some garbage? Give it good examples, give it bad examples. Like, I was talking to Patrick about this for writing articles the other day. He said he wasn't really happy with the way it was writing articles for him. And I said, feed it 50 good examples and feed it 50 bad examples and like see what it does. And it'll probably come out with a really good result. Because that's typically what I do when I'm writing content. And it could be the same thing for estimates. In theory, you could feed it 50 good estimates, tell it why they're good, and then feed it 50 bad estimates and tell them why these are bad. And then ask it to build an estimate. It's going to do 10 times better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you could probably do that with 3 good and 3 bad examples.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep it simple. But yeah, you got to train it just like you train a human. You have to give it enough context so it actually knows what the heck you're talking about. It's not like this, all-seeing eye that is perfect and knows more than you. It's it's a tool that we need to feed.
That's kind of what I was saying about, like, it's important to use it and you kind of learn how it works. Like, the way that I view using ChatGPT now is like sculpting out of clay. It's like the first time I try to make a clay pot, it turns out horrible, and most of the time I'll just scrap it and start over. And that's exactly what I do with ChatGPT. I'll give it some instructions. It'll give me an output. I'll note what was wrong with that output, because what you learn when you use it is that it's the instructions you give it is what it's working with. And so the results you get are highly based on the instructions that you give it. And every time you do an iteration, you adjust your instructions, and what you get hopefully gets a little closer to what you want. And so just like making a clay pot, once you've made 100 clay pots, once you've used ChatGPT to do 100 projects, you get a lot faster at getting to that point where you're getting the output that you want. It's a skill. It's not the AI. The AI is just a tool. You put in something, you get out something. It's your ability to give instructions and really clearly communicate exactly what you want and what you don't want. That is the secret. And there's no way to learn this in a blog article or on a Udemy course. Like, you learn it by doing it thousands of times, just like any other skill. It's a skill. It's not a piece of information you just learn. So the only way to learn it is to practice. Yep.
That actually reminds me of another tip, is to remember that it's conversational. It's a two-way street. So if you give it, a prompt and it comes back with something you don't like, it's not just like over. That's not just the end. You can ask it, hey, I'm not happy with this output. I would have preferred it if it was more like blah, blah, blah. Ask me questions to clarify it so that I can help you create the result that I want, or something like that. So you kind of learn like how to talk to it to get it to do what you want.
Totally. Like, one thing that I do a lot now that I learned from experience is I'll say, hey, here's what I want to achieve. Write out some ways that we might achieve this.
Ooh, and I like that.
It'll put out a bunch of kind of ideas. And then most of the time I'll say, okay, cool, go ahead and execute those ideas. And so it helped me give it instructions, and then it tried to execute. So that's one way. Another way is, like, if you were doing it for estimating, you can upload spreadsheets. So let's say that you use Excel to do your estimates. You import that spreadsheet, and then you say, describe what you see on the spreadsheet, and it'll write a description. And then you can say, give it some context. Hey, this is a spreadsheet of an estimate I did for this kind of project, blah, blah, blah. Give it all that, and then say, okay, write me a prompt that I can give you next time that will help you create a spreadsheet exactly like this one. Mm-hmm. And it will spit out instructions, and you copy those instructions into a document, and next time you want to create an estimate, you start with those instructions. And now you're the sculptor, and you've upped your skill level, and now you'll get to the end result you want a lot faster. And you do that every time. Every time you use that prompt, you make it better. And eventually, theoretically, you'll get to the point where you have the perfect instructions, and it gives you exactly what you want every single time. Very soon, AI will be at that level, and our skill level using it will be, so that the people that can do that, they will be tremendously valuable.
Totally. Yep. It really doesn't hurt to get ahead of the curve, and it doesn't need to take a lot of time either.
No, it's $20 a month for the pro subscription.
And it's fun. It's like maybe scary to some, but like get over it and just like have some fun with it.
I was super scared like when I first saw what it was becoming capable of last fall. I was like, all right, I give us till May until robots take over the world. But like, what am I going to do? Sit around and wait for that to happen? Like, no, let me use it while I can. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I mean, I made all my employees get a subscription. I reimburse them for it.
But nice. You know, there's a team plan now, right?
Yeah, but it's important to me that they all have their own so that they can do their own stuff in it. It's private. Like, I want everybody experimenting with this stuff because like, it's truly amazing what you can accomplish. What was your other tip?
Did I have another tip?
I thought you did.
Lower your expectations and give it more context.
Okay.
And was there more?
I don't know, but give it more context. I like that one. I take my dog on lots of walks, and so I open up the app and hit the voice to text button, and I will just sit there and dump my brain out about an idea I have. And it can be anything. And sometimes I'll record like 5 minutes of me just talking, explaining every little thing I can possibly brainstorm about a topic. And then I'll say, okay, organize this into something that makes sense. And it'll take all my random ideas and produce an outline. And it allows me to organize my thoughts and really hone in on what I can do with the ideas I have. And it's just crazy. Another thing that I do often is I'll take transcripts from my YouTube videos and I'll pop them in and work with that information. So like, this is huge for contractors who are estimating projects, because you go in, record a video, just record the whole meeting, the whole conversation, go home, upload it to YouTube, keep it private so no one can see it. YouTube automatically turns it into a transcript. Paste that transcript into ChatGPT, and now you have a complete log of everything that was said in that conversation, so that it'll help you. You won't have to remember every little detail. And I mean, that alone is a tremendous value. So yeah, just use it. Just try it out. I actually know a lot of guys they use it all the time. And there's other AI tools out for like using your video to measure things and create estimates and 3D designs like in real time. Mm-hmm. So the technology is amazing. A lot of people won't use it, and they'll just be left behind eventually.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know if you saw this as I was scrolling through it earlier, but like, sheesh, this looks cool.
Yeah, I mean, with that kind of stuff, like, I mean, it is kind of scary, but imagine the productivity measuring capabilities when you have a camera watching every single person, what they're doing. Mm-hmm. It'll probably highlight red. Oh, there, it's doing it right there. Highlight red when there's like some kind of OSHA violation, or if
Right.
like somebody is like losing their balance next to the edge somewhere. like
Yeah, for real.
like it's pretty wild. People aren't going to be clocking in. Like they're just going to be on camera, and as soon as they walk on, the clock's going to start, and it's going to measure how long it took them to do every little detail. Like,
Yeah,
it's
and
pretty crazy.
what strikes me as insane is like the scale of some of these tiny problems. Of like right here, it says construction errors are estimated at 273 billion each year in the U.S.
One of the reasons why, like, there's a lot of white collar jobs getting replaced by AI right now, and it's because all of their work has been done digitally, and so it's all the data's there. You can train AI on all this data. Well, blue collar jobs aren't being replaced as quickly because there isn't a whole lot of data available. You can't train the AI to do all these little things because there's not data to train it on. But with tools like this that are recording constantly and measuring all these little things, it really won't be long before we have robots doing all that stuff.